Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Transitions for More. I'm your host, Mike Urko, Marine Corps veteran. I've returned from Iraq and faced the challenges of PTSD, addiction, and grief to create a new life that is balanced and healthy in mind, body, and spirit. Each episode, I'll share some of my journey or interview inspiring veterans and subject matter experts to help us find that purpose and connection we all crave. You guys can follow the show on Instagram at Transitions for More. Join our TFW page on Facebook, Twitter, and transitionsformore.com. If you have any questions, comments, or topic ideas, feel free to email me at mike@transitionsformore.com. If you guys enjoy the show, please leave us a rating and review on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. All right, enough of that. Let's get to the show.
We're back.
What's up, man?
Edit that together afterward.
I know.
So it's like perfect.
that'd be some good editing skills on my part that I'm not sure I have yet.
Just like sync it up, and we're back. I'm all right, man. I'm living. We're alive out here. You know.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's good.
Are people just in Estonia? Are people nervous about this, or what they thinking about this whole Ukraine war thing?
Dude, it's weird, right? Like when I was in Kyiv about a month before all this shit went down, it was, like I said, 4 days. Like I left, and then 4 days later, they sent the "if you're a U.S. citizen" GTFO message from the State Department. And there was this kind of like, you got to keep in mind, they had a shooting war going on like the Eastern Front of Ukraine, which is, it's a big place, right? It's bigger than, I'm sure you've seen the maps, but it's a fairly large chunk of what would be like Pennsylvania all the way like up to Michigan, Ohio, I believe. Similar landmass. But when I was in Kyiv that time, there was like a single protest where they were basically saying like, "Oh, Putin's a cocksucker," or something like that. It was like Putin Hoyo, or like fuck Putin. It's something like some dirty Ukrainian term and Putin in the same thing.
Yeah. But
other than that, it just seemed like everything was going about its normal way of being, you know? And I think so Estonia, it's just, maybe I'm there's some bias because it's like I'm giving you how I feel out here, you know? Like I think Americans out here are kind of, how to explain? Like basically Estonians realize that, you know, if Putin had gone in and just wrecked Ukraine in like a blitzkrieg like maneuver where the battle was over inside of a week, and he immediately annexed Ukraine, then things would not be really looking good for Estonia and the Baltics, right?
The oh shit factor goes up a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. But I think, you know, like Estonians are just, Estonians are hardy people, and they've survived like so many different massive empires being in control of this area.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you read the history of this country, it's like, holy shit, man. Like it's just, these guys got hit. The Soviets came across. So they get independence in like right after World War I, when Russian Empire is having a civil war between the Reds and the Whites, right? And then becomes the Soviet Union. Like 19 years later, the Soviet Union comes across when the Ribbentrop Pact, right? Where they split and decided they were going to meet in the middle, Stalin and Hitler. So Stalin gets Estonia, they go across, and then eventually the Germans come back. So when the Soviets come across, they export like all of the leaders and all of the intelligentsia, like all the people who would be considered, who could potentially be a threat, right? They export them to Siberia. And then like the Germans come across and they kill a bunch of people. And then the Soviets come back, and anyone who worked with the Germans gets exported to Siberia and killed. And then like, it's just a freaking mess, man. So like I think in Estonia, there's this kind of like understanding that something could go wrong. And if it does, they want to be prepared to fight. You know, because of that, they're letting in way more refugees than they would have,
Yeah.
or than they have like Syrians and stuff,
Right.
But I think everyone is ready or not ready, but they're paying attention, and they understand that, like, to people in the US, it's not really close to you.
Exactly. No, it's not at the doorstep. So
Yeah. But this is like, there's a fucking KGB museum in the middle of the downtown area here. There's like a museum of the fight for, freedom that goes all the way up until like 1991.
yeah.
So I guess there's an understanding, but there's also like this that I really respect, is this kind of like stoicism about it. Like everyone's not sitting here like cowering in their boots being afraid.
Right.
It's more like very active. Like there was one, like a weapons group, like this I don't know, like a group that would be like our NRA type deal,
Right.
just sent recommendations to the parliament to remove the weapons owning permits of like Russian and Belarusian citizens in Estonia. So if something were to go down.
I see what you're saying.
And then they also proposed that if you are a citizen of an EU or NATO country in Estonia and you have a permit, whether it's for sport shooting or hunting or self-defense, that you get the maximum amount of like rounds that you can purchase put way up. And so they're just getting like, if something goes down, they're going to be ready.
That's cool.
And
Man.
it's like, you want to talk about hard people, man. Estonians are hardcore. Like in a weird way, they're hardcore.
I bet, man. Given the history and the geography, I bet they're fucking tough.
Yeah, it's like I heard a tour guide say, if you see a woman crying, she's not Estonian. They have this delicacy. It's called kama. And basically, like if you can picture this, like think about what this says about a culture. Okay. This is like a snack or something. But it's literally all of the different types of like grains that have been used or that are like left over from the harvest.
Yeah.
And then you take all this like scattering of like wheat and oats and buckwheat or whatever ground up. And then you throw it in, like throw kefir, which is milk that doesn't really go bad because it's already kind of gone bad.
Fermented. Yeah.
Fermented. Yeah. And then mix that up and that's your little snack. And it's like, dude, that's a survival technique is what that is.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, what does that say about the people that's one of their cultural, staples? Or blood sausage. Shit's nasty. But
yeah. Hey, so Estonians are essentially like taking their jacket off and cracking their knuckles and like get ready for.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, like the chairman of the Joint Chiefs just did a tour where he started in Estonia and then went all the way down to Romania, like all the NATO countries, like leading from the front, going out, tugging shit with like the troops, being like, is your officer a good leader? And it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
To see that, and they've increased NATO presence out here. The president of Estonia said, don't leave, like, don't go join the Ukrainian Legion. Because if anything happens, we need you here. Like all Estonians. Point.
Yeah.
So like, it was just like, hey, don't go fight in Ukraine. She did. And it wasn't like for the political reasons that like the US doesn't want us to go fight in Ukraine, because then Putin might use that as like an escalation point. This was like, practical. Don't leave. Yeah, exactly. But, I would say it's affecting my wife quite a bit. Like she's kind of just almost dead to the world, like just staring at all of the coverage that's coming through.
Kind of like a lot of Americans did for 9/11.
Yes, exactly. Where you're kind of numbly staring at it. But imagine 9/11 with like real social media.
Yeah.
dude, I have a friend who showed me this. So I think it was like last Saturday or Sunday. She's pregnant. So she was like, "Hey, I'm taking donations for my birthday, and I'm gonna go buy a bunch of shit, and we're gonna bring it to a church, and then the church is gonna ship it to Ukraine for refugees and for people."
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, "All right, cool." And I gave her some money, and then she ended up having too much shit to carry. So she's like, "Hey, can I get some help carrying this?" And her husband was working that day, so I was like, "Sure." So we went, and then afterward, we caught brunch because like I'm a white person and I once lived in Walnut Creek, so you got to get brunch, right?
Yeah, get brunch, dude.
Got to get brunch. So we got brunch, and they were like these. It was two Ukrainian friends, and they were like showing me stuff of what's going on. And it turns out that there's actually a Telegram channel with almost 1 million followers that is just like pictures of corpses of dead Russians.
No shit.
And the reason why, this is twisted. The reason why they're doing it isn't to be like, oh yeah, fuck the Russians. It's like more so because the way that they've kind of organized the war is that they're grabbing all of these people like from these far villages in like Siberia and all these places out there
like
where people are really,
right?
Yeah, they're conscripts, but they're joining the army to get a paycheck because there's no jobs in those areas. And they're shipping all of them there because they're less likely to have relatives in Ukraine, more willing to pull the trigger. But then also, if they disappear, you get a bunch of people who are disappearing from all these different areas.
Right. Not one's concentrated away, so like they can't organize.
Exactly.
Families can't organize.
Families can't organize. And they're doing that. And they're like all the things that, some of the people on the right wing are saying like, oh, it's Ukrainian propaganda. Like, no, they're not. The Russians are not allowing bodies to be brought back. They're just burning corpses. So this is for a way for the families of the Russians to find out if their kids are dead or not through this Telegram channel, which is fucking insane to me.
Yeah. Cool government, man. Good job, Russia.
Yeah, it's really
well run. Cool.
Yeah, really
well run.
Awesome. Yeah. All right. Here, I want to tell you this quick story. I hope it is actually funny. So my grandpa, like I grew up, basically I started working at the age of 11 because, fuck child labor laws. And basically what we did is we set up bleachers and stages that were temporary in areas. When I was real young, when I was like 11, we just worked like with the production of the frames and shit for bleachers. But what I really hated when I was like a little bit older is we did all these events where we would set up stages and then there would be like some sound guy who would have to like test the equipment, and they would just go on and on and on, whether we were setting a bleacher or a stage or whatever. So there were so many times when I was in like high school and it would be really late and I'm trying to, get this shit done. And they would be sitting there like sibilance. And they would just sit there saying stupid shit like trying to check the levels and everything, get it right for the performance. Now here I am 20 years later, and this is like, and we're getting ready for the podcast, and I'm like, sibilance. If you ever like this question of, would you punch, like if you yourself now met your younger self, would that younger self want to punch you in the face? And I think the answer for me now is yes, because of sibilance.
Hey, I'm trying to think of that too. It depends where you caught me. I think where my younger self caught me. Like if I was like maybe about to go hunting, my younger self would be like, all right, well, that's kind of cool. Maybe if it's me looking at like dress shirts, oh, that dude's getting punched.
Yeah, who the fuck is that guy? Dude. What about if you're going to the spa to have a cucumber treatment for your face?
Bro, the baseball bats you're getting out. It's like, we got to put this guy out of his misery.
Dude, oh God. Like, you often think like, oh, what would, if you could talk to your younger self, what would you say? And like this, I was listening to some book the other day, and the guy said it perfectly. He's like, "Yeah, I wouldn't say anything because that younger self wouldn't fucking listen anyway." You know, like,
Exactly.
you're just gonna end up being who you are. Like, I wear flip flops, but other than that, I would say, follow like the Marine Corps kind of what do you call it?
Proper civilian attire.
Yes, the civilian attire regulations, right? Like I usually wear a belt if I have loops on the pants.
Oh, dude, I'm always wearing a belt.
Like I would say like 9 times out of 10 I'm in appropriate civilian attire now, but it's because I'm an adult. It's because I'm an adult and I have to follow those things, right? I will say this though. I do not iron in vertical seams into my jeans.
Yeah, then I would recommend jumping off a fucking bridge if you did that.
Like, you know who I'm talking about though, or like I generally don't tuck in a t-shirt like staff NCOs.
Yeah, that's kind of a lame move, dude. I mean, I tuck in a dress shirt, because if you don't, you look like a fucking slob.
Exactly.
But t-shirt tuck-ins, you might as well wear, white New Balance or socks with sandals.
Go put on a fucking polo shirt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go put on a polo shirt if you're gonna tuck in your stupid fucking shirt. I don't know.
Yeah. Welcome back to Proper Civilian Attire with Mike and Rich.
I'm sure the civilian attire regulations are a little different now, but I get them. That's the thing. I guess what I'm saying is, what I didn't say, I was just bitching about, is like now that I'm nearing 40 and I'm like, I would be probably like a gunny or a master sergeant if I never got any NJPs or like never had any bad paperwork on me in the Marines. Mm-hmm. And, or if I didn't end up my career as like a broke dick, right? But now that I'm this age and I see how like people in a white collar working environment get around and do their thing, like, of course they don't want you wearing a shirt that says like, "Oh, fuck my sister, Alabama."
Exactly. Like naked bacon.
Exactly. Like running around like looking like a gangsta, wearing, black and red or something. Like I get why they don't want that now. Like I get it. Yeah. But I'm also I'm old, man. Or not that we're old, but like we're old enough where young people consider us old.
Exactly. So 20-year-old you just walks in and hears that speech. Is he beating your ass?
Yeah, he's probably just like, fucking, I bet you didn't get paid to learn Russian for the Marine Corps and finish like a radio recon indoctrination program, did you? And I'll be like, I bet you didn't deploy, did you?
Yeah. Talk shit to your younger self.
Yeah, like, come on.
You've never had kids.
Cut out those.
Bitch. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, you cut out those pink shirts, motherfucker. Why don't you come talk to me when you're a man? Like, talk to me when you can grow a beard. And then I like my 40-year self talks to my like 6-year-old self and be like, never got there, do we?
Never got there, did we? Yeah, we still just a fucking shit talking punk.
Yep.
That would be a great premise for a movie. A younger and modern day self just have a shit talking battle.
Oh, that would be great.
Welcome back to Bad Movie Ideas with Mike and Rich.
Bad movies. I was thinking I want to do something called Pitch It, where you just have to like improvise a pitch for something. Like I think that'll be a fun
thing where people like yell out themes. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, like pitch it. Like, okay, Mike, the one I've been thinking about is like, I really like the Lego Batman movie. I think it went pretty well for what they're doing, but
I'm into it.
But if you're like talking about pitch that, it's like, okay, now, you know how the most recent Batman was super serious? Because at that time it was Bale.
Yeah.
All right. So what I want to do is I want to make one of the most expensive Batman movies of all time, computer generated, about Legos, and it'll be a comedy.
Yeah, exactly. That? Exactly.
And the main enemy in it will be himself. Wow. Oh, who's going to play Batman? Job Bluth from Arrested Development.
Like, yeah, exactly. Job.
No one wants the guy who played a magician to play fucking Batman. Like,
oh God, yeah. Oh, I miss that show so much.
It was good. I didn't really like the
redo.
Yeah, but the original 3 seasons were pretty great.
Oh, so good, man. Tobias, my man.
Oh, David Cross, that guy.
Oh, he's so good. Um, yeah, we might have had a point today, but
Oh yeah, I think we are going to talk about meditation. So okay, your
yeah.
younger self catches you now, and you're sitting there meditating. How do you usually meditate, Mike? What do you like? Sit in the lotus pose or whatever, and have a
Um,
pillow? Do you put a pillow to save you from hemorrhoids?
I do have a little bench. So imagine like a footstool almost
Mm-hmm.
that my legs are under behind me and I'm sitting on it. Um, my
Wait,
butt's
legs
sitting
are
on it,
under.
but my
So you
legs are
sit on
under
it,
the bench
and the
like
legs are under
this.
the bench, and it fits. Like you don't have problems with mobility or something getting under there.
Yeah, because it's slanted. So I guess I'd have to show you.
Oh, okay, that works. All right, that's cool. I'm just
I'm
picturing
sitting on
myself
that, or
like
I'm
with.
just sitting on a couch, maybe
Okay,
cross-legged on the couch. That's definitely getting your ass beat by younger self.
cross-legged on the couch. I lay down.
If I lay down, I'm falling asleep usually.
I do fall asleep sometimes, but that's okay. I
Yeah,
wake up feeling a
not
lot
bad.
better.
Yeah, if that's the thing, if you're meditating, you got to sleep. A lot of us are. I'm too tired to think of the word right now, but
Multitaskers. No,
underslept,
yes, underslept,
sleep deprived. There we
sleep
go.
deprived. That's better. Tired.
Yeah,
Parents, just boom, like that
I'll
covers
take
it.
easy words for 500. Yeah,
It's
so
early there. At least you have an excuse.
yeah,
I'm
that's
like
fair.
drinking green tea at 4:30 in the afternoon because I've been on like days full of meetings.
Yeah.
But
Well, so meditating, yeah, it's either on the bench or it's on a couch. Maybe you know what? I put my head back a lot of times because what that does when you put your head back, it exposes your neck, which is not particularly important, all except for the fact that that's something you only do when you're feeling safe, is expose your neck, and so that
that's some
sends.
primal ass shit.
It is, yeah. So it sends a signal to your body that it's okay to get in a deeper state of relaxation.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
The
I
same
might
way that
start
if
using
you're
this
trying
shit.
to relax and you're like hunched over, or you're trying to like be happy and you're hunched over
Mm-hmm.
and concave, you're going to send signals to your body that you're scared or you're depressed.
It's like that Tony Robbins Superman pose shit where you're like,
Yeah. Tony Robbins. I know we talked about him a little bit, celebrating those small wins. Yes.
yes. Oh.
Come on, get up and feel it. Yeah.
Well, sometimes I gotta tell you about this dude I learned public speaking from who had worked for Tony Robbins before. Remind me sometime. We'll talk about it. But all right, meditation. So
Spoiler.
you
Yeah.
sit
Teaser alert.
head up,
I like that.
head up,
My
or
head's
sorry,
back.
chin up. That's like when a cat lays down and like gives you their stomach. They're
Yeah.
not actually telling you to like pet their stomach. They're just showing you that they're comfortable enough with you to like.
Yeah, exactly. So, because when you
That's
do pet
crazy.
them, they fucking scratch you and bite you, and you go, "What the fuck?"
Yes, they do.
And you go, "God damn it, that's why people hate cats."
Whereas dogs actually roll like that and want you to rub their belly, which is funny.
Yep.
It's like,
My dog Valor cannot get enough belly rubbing. So back to meditation.
yes.
It's not something you got to do for half hour, an hour. I mean, if we talk meditation, there's so many different styles. I think one thing to clear up too is there's the word mindfulness, and then there's the word
Mhm.
meditation. Meditation is involves breathing, usually eyes closed, but it can be anything from visualizing something to noticing your breath, to some kind of religious vision quest thing. But mindfulness is simply paying attention, because often they get confused, and then to make it more confusing, there's mindfulness meditation, which is meditating on the present moment. Exactly. So don't worry about figuring that out. But if we're talking about
Wow. Okay.
meditation for benefits, I think a lot of people get scared away by the fact that it seems like it's either a Buddhist or like Hindu, kind of thing, or some kind of cult. So there doesn't need to be any kind of religious connotation with meditation. It can simply be breathing, noticing the silence, and just watching your thoughts kind of go by, which is pretty much a mindfulness meditation.
Mhm.
But simply what you're doing is you're breathing slowly. You're noticing that your thoughts are just thoughts, your feelings are passing through you, and you're allowing your body to relax. And what it's doing physiologically is letting your body get into the parasympathetic nervous system, which is just the rest and digest versus the fight or flight. So you're allowing your body to kind of heal and restore. And it doesn't need to be an hour long, doesn't need even to be half an hour. Even if it's only a few minutes, it's enough of a kind of reset to help you, breathe, probably relax your muscles a little bit, let your body start to restore itself, and clears your head up a little bit, which helps you think straight. And then maybe you don't get on all kinds of like sidetracked stories on your podcast.
That will never stop. That's ADHD. That is not lack of meditation.
It's all good, man.
But okay, so pitch this. You have to tell yourself, your 20-year-old self.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what year did you get out? 22?
I was 22, yeah.
All right, so actually, I'll tell you what, you can pick either 17 or 23. And you have to pitch benefits 17 or 23, meaning you're either going to pitch to someone who has not had the level of like Marine Corps indoctrination and just like the ready, move, kill, like, or this kind of, like the charge the machine gun nest mentality instilled into them, or someone who is like coming out of it and having to reassimilate to, it's a different audience. You get to pick your audience here.
Yeah.
And then you get to tailor the message to them, and we'll call it, like, give it a couple of minutes. Don't be me and do an hour and a half pitch for something that needs like 2 minutes.
Yeah. Let's do 23-year-old.
All right.
What am I telling my 23-year-old self?
Yeah. Like I'll be your 23-year-old self. I won't actually talk back, but bro, let's go to the Cal game, dude. Gotta go to Cal game. I don't know. That's like my impression of you. Let's go. You going to a football game? Let's get some beer, man. Yeah. All right.
Dead on.
Go ahead.
I always say 23-year-old me just got out of the Marine Corps like about a year ago. But
you're married, right? No kids at that point?
Not married yet.
Not married.
All, I think engaged by then. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Hey, daggone freaking listen up. We're talking about some daggone freaking meditation. Get in your goddamn Braden housing group. All right. Don't fucking gaff me off. This shit will fucking allow you to get shit done. So you have more time to go fucking drink beer. And you probably get laid more. All right. So do that shit. Don't fucking gaff me off. And just fucking get it done. No questions. Good to go?
Good to go. Can I still go to the Cal game?
You can still go to the Cal game.
Rah, semper, kill.
All
right. Jesus, I don't even know what I don't know, man. I finally left the Marines at like 29, so it's just not even worth it.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right, that was good. You spoke to your audience in the language that he would understand, right?
You gotta get into the brain housing group.
Gotta get into that brain housing group.
Speaking of brain housing group, one thing that's stuck around, been bouncing around that brain housing group inside my grape is like the most satisfying shit you've ever taken via Blake's question last week.
Oh shit, we never covered that, did we?
No, because I couldn't think of it, man. This might have to be another to be continued, but I'm still trying to come up with one.
Dear Blake, we are still considering your shit.
Yeah.
About our shit.
Exactly. So shit will get real. We'll figure it out. But we're
fucking real, God.
We're gonna meditate on this.
Suck on it. Meditate on it.
Exactly.
All right. Here's a question about meditation. All right. Um, I've heard all of this stuff, and maybe you just know because, like, but so David Lynch, dude makes some weird shit. I don't know if you know him. He's a Hollywood director. I really liked Twin Peaks. A couple of his other movies I watched, and I was like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck just happened? Like, there's one where I was like, what? Those types of movies he makes. And this guy is a huge proponent of specifically transcendental
Transcendental.
meditation.
Home.
Is that the? I thought you had to pay like $10,000 and go on like a weekend retreat, and they you have
That's
to
what
be
all the
like
places
live in a
tell you.
mansion.
You're right.
Do they just go I thought each person gets like
They
a
get their own
mantra.
sound. Like you get your own sound, and there's an expert. I'm doing air quotes that'll tell you that like like when you get your own sound, like if it's right or not, because they know. So your sound rich would be hey.
I don't know. So it's a sound. It's not like a healthy, wealthy, and wise makes a person da 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 da.
Yeah.
Nothing like that. It's not like Nam Yoho.
Nam Yoho Rengyo Ko. No, that's
Yeah.
fucking
Nothing like that.
Cults I almost joined. No, I think it's a specific sound. If you do transcendental meditation and you actually know what it is versus me kind of making it up, go ahead, write me at mike@transitionsformore.com and we'll read your answer.
So have you ever come away from like a meditation session and been like more okay, here, let me rephrase the question.
More
Okay.
pissed
Like
off?
you know how, yeah, like sometimes in therapy, when someone has been like putting shit away for a long time and it's kind of calcified and
I've
they've
never been in therapy. That shit's fucking stupid.
20-year-old self.
Yeah,
No, bro. Fucking let's get a beer. But so sometimes when people start doing therapy, it can be hard and it can, I'm not saying
shit
it's going
comes
to be
out.
worse at the beginning, but that shit comes out, right?
Yeah.
And you maybe feel like until you work to past a certain point of progress, you don't feel spectacular about your decision to open it up, right?
You're cleaning out a wound.
Yes.
Essentially,
Now,
right?
with meditation, have you ever seen anything along the lines of that dynamic?
Yeah. Yeah, because you become more aware. And so you become sometimes more aware of the patterns that you fall into that aren't aligned with your values. Like, oh, I'm telling lies, or, like I'm not doing the things I am a proponent of. Like, like maybe going to Jack in a Box at like 10 at night every night, if you're doing that, like is against your like working out and losing weight, goals. So you become aware like of the things that you do that you're not necessarily proud of or that aren't working in life. If you're staying in like an abusive relationship or with a job you hate or something like that, just because you don't know what else to do or you kind of numb, so you just become aware of your patterns a little bit more, aware of things you haven't dealt with, aware of things you're maybe procrastinating on. So that's painful because you're getting out of a rut of familiarity and you're aware of like what's limiting you. So now that you know about it, you're forced to decide if you're going to change or not.
That could be, or not. That could be like, that could be what's been bothering me lately, I think, but because I've been trying to pick up meditation again. That's part of the reason I asked you to make this topic of the show. And geez, man, with all this shit that's going on, like I gotta be straight up, I'm not rising to the occasion like I would hope that I would. Like I'm still using alcohol coping mechanisms that are negative behaviors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't go get wrecked, but I definitely have some drinks.
Yeah.
And on a more frequent basis than I ought to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I get up and I function like I'm not like an alcoholic, but I'm fucking, it's these repetitive and this is sorry, what all my like self-help literature says. So
Mm-hmm.
if you have like real fucking literature that you've read, because this is your profession, then let me know. But like these repetitive habits. So let's say you go buy like a tiny little bottle of Jack Daniels and drink that because
Mm-hmm.
you're fucking worn out from a day. And then you do that like starts at one frequency and then the frequency goes up and then the volume goes up. Eventually, you become an alcoholic or you become addicted to whatever the thing is.
Right.
Um, so I think the idea is kind of to have a pattern interrupt and to not do that. And I'm working on it, bro.
Yeah.
But like my plan was to just kind of be like, fuck it, I'm not going to drink anymore. But I don't think I can do that right now. Like I might have to wait a little bit. Um, but like there's just a lot going on. So I'm simultaneously trying to get back into therapy because I've been out here for way too long. Like I still,
Yeah.
check in with my vet center therapist and stuff, but you got like, oh, I guess what I'm trying to get at is it's a journey for everybody. So I'm simultaneously while all this is going on, meditating more, and I have been working out, right? So I'm like getting some of these things on, but I'm more aware of where I'm falling down,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
I
while
think
these like world events are happening and shit. So it's just, if people are out there and they're struggling, like I want them to know that we all struggle.
we all struggle. And then to answer your question of, what one can do in those situations where there's high stress, and rightfully so. I mean, you're next to this fucking country that's trying to dominate the world currently. Um, the solution that I've learned is more helpful is to simply make a little bit more space for the uncomfortable feelings.
Mhm.
So it's not the feelings that are a problem, it's our solution to the feelings. So whether that's like drinking to excess, eating too much, zoning out on video games, looking at weird shit on Pornhub, um, you know, like I haven't
Eating
seen this category
eating
before.
MRE after MRE so you can take a giant shit.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
just the shit that people do.
Just the shit that people do, my man. Um, Getting into cosplay or some fucking shit that your 20-year-old self would definitely beat your ass for. A strategy is to, you don't have to meditate necessarily, but breathe and just notice the emotion you're feeling. And the way you can do this is sometimes notice the physical sensations in your body. Like right now, if I'm feeling, like let's say I was feeling dread, then I might be feeling like tightening of my gut. I might feel a constriction in my like throat or chest. I might feel tension in my temples, things like that. It takes some time to be able to notice these things, if they're more subtle, bodily sensations. Like let's say like I'm feeling excited. Um, I might feel this kind of like butterflies in my chest. My heart might feel warm. I might feel like kind of energy bouncing around my body, like I'm just kind of a little restless, maybe. So I notice those things and I just make a little bit of room for it instead of like trying to change it, you know, by taking a sedative or something.
So that would be more mindfulness than meditation, correct?
Yeah, and you can meditate on a specific feeling and just notice what comes up. But and these terms are confusing. I'd say like we dedicate a future show to talking about the difference between mindfulness and meditation and what people can do.
That sounds good. And if you're listening and you have questions, like that would be great. We would love to hear what people out there would like to hear from us.
Yeah, what do you want to know? You want to know about more about Estonian history and culture? Would you
Want to
like to
learn
know
about
more about like
MRE shits?
MRE shits? You want to know about more about time traveling selves that beat your ass because you're doing something that your past self would have been embarrassed by?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
dude, you might if I was telling a dad joke, which I do now, um, my past self would fucking whoop my ass so hard.
It's it's so funny that like, okay, you ever see your kid doing shit and you can put yourself in your shoes at that age and you think like he thinks he's getting away with this. Like he
Yeah.
really thinks that I don't understand what he's trying to do right now,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know? And then like it makes me think about all of the times that because I was, I come from like what would be considered a first world poor family,
Yeah.
and I was the one who my parents like had not been afforded the opportunity to go and get educated. And so they made sure that I went to like a good school.
Right.
And then I turned that around and I thought I was like the coolest motherfucker in the world. Like it was the same thing as in the Marines when I thought because I had been educated, like taught how to speak a language and could do that in a certain amount of time. It's a difficult program, but I thought I was like better than every motor T gunny, which I was.
But you
Fuck
were.
motor T. No.
But
But I just thought I was better than everyone else. And I had that fucking same attitude toward my parents when I was a
yeah.
teenager. And I'm really not looking forward because I know my kid's going to be smarter than me. That's the messed up thing. Is he's going to, if we put him in an Estonian kindergarten, this kid is going to speak 3 languages before he's 5 fluently. 3 languages.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
And he's going to be like, Tula mula kula, in fucking Estonian, talking shit. My dude's a fucking idiot. And I'll be like, dude, I did the same thing. Like,
that's all right. You can always humble your kid. You put a lot of heavy shit in a fucking rucksack, and you go until they have a poopy face and they start looking miserable. And you just walk, be like, yeah,
like, oh, it hurts, huh?
Yeah,
it hurts?
Not so badass now, are you? But just have them like hold out like a rubber rifle in front of them.
The chicken wing.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Not hard. Not hard. No, is it? Oh, it's getting heavier, isn't it? Oh, wow.
Oh, good.
Not so much of a badass now, are you?
Yeah, it's so weird, man. I wonder what life's gonna be like if I'm lucky enough to make it to like 80. Just like I wonder. Robert Kraft, did you see that
CEO
news?
of the Patriots? No,
Patriots, yeah, owner of the Patriots.
Last thing I heard about him, he's getting like jerked off in massage tables.
Yeah, so he dropped the massage table, the Asian massage parlor, and decided instead to marry a 47-year-old woman.
Isn't he like I did 80, the math. 90?
He's 80. He's 80. There's a difference of 33 years. So when he was 47, she was like 14.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a
and
there's
like pictures of her posing with like the engagement ring as a Super Bowl ring. And I'm like, yeah, that's why you're marrying him. Of course.
Yeah.
But I hope when I'm 80 that my wife is still alive and I'm not dumb enough to try and marry a chick who's like less than or close to half my age. But I wonder what it'll be like when you're like looking at all these like 60-year-olds around. And you're like fucking boots. Like,
yeah, exactly. Come here, you young piece of shit.
Oh man. So meditation. Do you think it's more important or less important in such a distracted world? Like, how do you feel about it? Technology. I mean, like,
I think it's more important now because we have so many distractions, because I think that there's things like social media, TV, quick access to information that can be overwhelming and distracting. And like we know about like Facebook algorithms, they're targeted to keep you distracted from real life and get you hooked on something. So the ability to access different brainwaves, which we didn't really get into, and be in a calmer state versus kind of like a hyper needy kind of desperate kind of addictive kind of attitude.
It is. I mean, it's dopamine response for sure. Yeah, those technologies are doing that, but Facebook is even worse because it puts things in front of your face that not only you'll engage with, but it has done the research to understand what emotional response is happening. And usually the one that people engage with most is anger. And they still put it in front of those people.
Yeah.
because it gets them more money. They're trying to get you pissed off and enraged so that you'll click on something and be like, no, you don't understand, which I
Yeah.
did today, by the way. But like, I'm just letting people know, like, dude, we're all human.
Yeah.
Now this other brainwave situation, which we will have to go in depth on an episode, but how long do you have to be meditating before you see benefits in the way that your brain works?
Six
Like
and a half minutes. No,
six
I
and a
just
half
made that up.
minutes.
No.
Oh, all right. I thought you were serious. I mean, so I'm talking in terms of like the amount of meditation per session,
mhm.
and then also like this duration. You have to
How
be
many years
meditating
you've done it?
consistently for like, yeah.
Um, I'm gonna give you the answer that makes me want to fucking scream every time I hear it, and it depends.
The
Yeah,
engineer's answer for everything.
I hate that. It can feel
It's
like such
just,
a cop out.
it depends, but it's true.
But I think this is what the factors you're working with is how distracted is your mind. Distracted in terms of like if you're trying to focus on one thing and you notice all kinds of other thoughts coming up and you're time traveling to the future or the past, or how many like emotions do you have that you don't want to feel that are there that you're trying to block out? How much of that do you have?
Mm-hmm.
How long does it take your mind to slow down? So that'd be like the duration per session, and like how the like long term. How long do you have to do that? Um, I mean, I think as humans we start getting into it, a habit after 21 days, but about 90 days seems to be where like it becomes like an easy habit, like you're just automatically doing it. So I think it's probably easier to drop down to that state. Like for me, I say I've been meditating off and on since the year 2007, maybe 2009. And if I get into it, it's not too hard for me to get into a kind of a deeper state within a couple minutes, just because I've been doing it for a little while. But by no means am I some kind of expert, I'd say. But
It's a hard thing to be an expert in. I've
yeah,
been at points in my life where I can feel myself drop into that state better, you know,
yeah,
but definitely not recently. I guess maybe after a couple of weeks of having done it, like I am feeling a little bit more like I can get there
yeah.
to that where you feel kind of where when they tell you to come back, you're actually coming back from somewhere. I do guided meditation on Headspace. Like
Uh-huh.
we don't get paid for that, guys. Like I'm just that's what I use because it's
Yeah.
easy for me. It's how I started, and so I'm going back and starting from the beginning ones, and I'm probably doing something that's not ideal, which is I'm actually meditating because for me, I have to get away from the kid. Like the kid has to be taken care of or whatever.
Yeah.
You just what I like to do is I just put him out in a busy street and then see who grabs him. That's the goal
Exactly.
there.
Yeah.
But no, like so I do it like the other day I did it when the babysitter was here, and I did it at the same time as that rapid reboot, which probably takes away the purpose because you're like having to not concentrate on your legs hurting,
That's
but
fine, man.
it's
Well,
something.
how would
It's
this
helped.
let's break it down to one last tip for people is you don't have to like have your eyes closed. If you're trying to calm down or if you're trying to slow your thoughts down, you can do what's called as grounding. And that you have your eyes open and you simply notice the things you can see, the things you can smell, the things you can feel, like you feel, your feet on the ground or the couch or chair underneath your body. Um, yeah, all the different senses, touch, sound, smell, even taste. Like if you can taste remnants of what you ate or drank last, all of that. And you
You have
just
some. Sorry, go ahead.
no, that's all. You just notice different senses and breathe.
You have a couple guided meditations still on the RSS feed, correct?
I do. Yeah, we should start. I'll start releasing them as like little mini in between episodes here. And
Okay,
then
because I used a couple of them. They were useful. It was
whoever,
cool.
if you want one, because I know if I put them on here, it'll be a little hard to find after time goes by. If
Mhm.
you are a listener and you want a guided meditation, that I've recorded. I have some on. Well, I have a grounding exercise like we just talked about, where you'd have your eyes open. I have one on chronic pain. I have one on noticing your thoughts go by. I have one on compassion for yourself and others, and a few others. So if you want one, just email me, mike@transitionsfromwar.com, and I'll send it to you free of charge. And I won't make you listen to my timeshare pitch either. You can just have it for free.
Timeshare and chanting cult pitches.
God damn it, Reinberg.
Oh, dude. But hey, I bought this new stuff from Amway and it's great. You want to join?
I will, but first let me tell you about doTERRA essential oils.
That stuff is still, it's known out here, by the way. Like
doTERRA?
all the multi-level. No, I think doTERRA. Hold on a second. Let me see something.
Yeah. So Rich is looking on his shelf for all his like cult stuff. Is that Young Living? Or is that doTERRA?
It's doTERRA.
doTERRA. Nice.
My wife bought it because she was trying to support a friend.
That's what it all is, right?
What the?
Like, okay, I'll do your shit. Whatever.
They're going through that phase. It's funny how people just have these phases in life, where you like sometimes it usually happens after your 20s, which is why in the time travel, the mentioned time travel scenarios, we were talking about our early selves. But I feel like there's a certain point where life kind of hands you your nuts, or you cuts your vagina off and hands it to you, whatever. Yeah. Or I don't know, or both if you have both. And you just tend to be like a little bit more empathetic after that, I would say.
Yeah.
And like, you got to support people, even if they're going through a phase of life where it's like, okay, well, hopefully they snap out of that quick.
Exactly. Sometimes you have friends in cults and you just wish them the best.
And they eventually leave,
God, I hope so. Right.
Oh, he left. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, but they leave. And family members in Amway have left that too. So I'm not afraid of saying that. But yeah, dude, it's interesting how life works. But one way that you can make sure that you're not joining a cult is to join our meditation cult.
Exactly. Yeah. That's it.
It's just, the mindfulness, the meditation, I think it's all kind of positive.
So things upcoming that we should discuss in the show: how I almost joined a cult that you almost joined.
No, I signed the papers, I think.
Oh, fuck.
I just never went back. I ghosted their asses. I was like, here's some money. Don't ever call me again.
Let's see. Getting arrested the same day I graduated boot camp.
What?
Yeah, bro.
Yes, I never knew that story, so I want to hear it. That's great.
And it was not in this country. So, yeah.
Ooh. Someone was traveling
to some hard in the paint, my friend.
Oh, all right. So we'll have to cover that one. Let's see.
The Boot Chronicles, coming soon to a podcast near you.
The Boot Chronicles. Hey, speaking of Boot Chronicles, I saw a dude the other day, like it was some shit on Facebook, but it was a guy I went to high school with. And he had like this picture of him and his nephew, and they were like doing like Irish Pride, which, by the way, I thought it was Scots who wore kilts, but the dude was dressed up in a kilt and he had a button-down shirt. He was in appropriate civilian attire. And he had like, the jungle boots.
Stop. Really?
They call them 2x or whatever, right? And he had them spit shine, like it was like we were back in 2002. And I was just like, holy shit, like he still has those boots. He was 2 years older than me. So he would have gone to boot camp in like 2000.
Yeah.
And he still had them. And they were polished, bro, like spit shined up. And he was wearing a kilt.
Younger self was definitely fighting that guy.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, I think younger self is probably fed into that, but whatever.
Yeah. And my current self has to get my ass to work now.
All right, brother. Yeah, we got to come up with a list of topics like that. The Chronicles of Mike. The Boot Chronicles.
Yeah, the Boot Chronicles. Say hi, Bruno.
I never knew we were an ASMR podcast.
Whoa. Yeah, exactly.
All right. People are like annoyed now.
Oh, dude, I'll bring some coffee next episode. So until then, drink water,
meditate,
kill motherfucking bodies. All right, everyone, that'll do it for this week of Transitions for More. Go ahead and subscribe to the show, follow it. Find us on Facebook, Instagram. You can email me, mike@transitionsformore.com, with any questions or ideas for the show. And please send the show to people you know who might need to listen to it. Leave us a rating and review on iTunes if you get a chance. And just thanks for listening. All right, everyone. See you next week. Bye-bye.